Let's talk about Juneteenth. You know, the holiday Donald Trump made very famous. You know, Donald Trump, the guy who thought Frederick Douglass was in the Green Mile. Nobody has done more for the black community than Donald Trump. Do you know who said that? Donald Trump. For those of you who still don't know, Juneteenth marks the day where the final remaining slaves were informed that they had been freed in 1865, 2.5 years after the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation. That's our country's true Independence Day. If anything, July 4th should have an asterisk on it like Barry Bonds' home run record. So why isn't this a federal holiday? Our federal holidays honor those who have served this country at the highest level by giving us a day off to remember them and their contributions. Who sacrificed and contributed more than slaves? Or as Trump University professors call them, unpaid volunteers. And there's probably a few reasons. Most white people hadn't heard of Juneteenth until this year. And if they had, they probably thought it was a made-up holiday like Wakanda Day or the Purge. And for the record, all holidays are made up. It also doesn't help that whenever systemic changes need to be made, especially when race is involved, it takes white people way too long to get on board. We're so far behind on stuff like that the term should be WPT, white people time. WPT, patiently not bothered by 400 years of social injustice, but enraged at how long it takes the Red Lobster staff to refill the cheddar biscuits. Now, most white people fall into one of three groups in response to social change. People who passively resist, people who overcompensate to show just how not racist they are, or straight up bigots. Now, let's start with the passive resistance. You know, the folks who get uncomfortable when any type of change is suggested. Civil rights, acknowledging white privilege, black James Bond. Look, the only reason to not cast real-life Adonis Idris Elba as a secret agent is because he's so big and gorgeous and great-smelling, I'm guessing, he could never go unnoticed. But who doesn't want to see that? Karen is the ultimate Bond villain. By tapping into the cell phone grid, she's able to track him anywhere he goes and alert the authorities. It's called Once You Go Black. This group of well-meaning whites knows racism exists, but they don't see it directly, so they turn a blind eye. Like me ignoring the fact that no one has left the pool for 4 hours to use the restroom, which leaves us living in each other's waste. And now, the overcompensators. Remember awkward interracial handshakes? Fake black person Rachel Dolezal? Or your white friends saying Roots is their favorite when the only Roots they've seen are theirs during quarantine? And even though most white people didn't even know what Juneteenth was 2 weeks ago, we're skipping over embracing it and heading straight for Appropriationville with the overcommitment level of Gary, the guy who's banging your mom who got a TikTok account so that he can better relate to you. Snapchat released a Juneteenth filter where you smile to break the chains. What? That was real! It's also insensitive and inaccurate. So Snapchat, you're telling me that all slaves had to do was smile, click their heels together and say there's no place like home? And in Chicago, Amazon stood in solidarity and honored the black community by giving them chicken and waffles. Do you know how fucking tone deaf that is? That's like handing out Easy Bake Ovens to Holocaust survivors. I didn't realize blatantly insincere pandering was included with my Prime membership. And finally, bigots. Waste of space douchebags who aggressively push back against protest. They opposed abolishing slavery, have their own cool handshakes, and protect their symbols at all cost. What do you have against progress? Why is Aunt Jemima the only black life that matters to you? Do you know how racist you have to be to not want a paid day off that also signifies an incredible accomplishment of this great nation? You've been working your racism like a slave. Time to set it free. The point is, we need to be better. We need to be proactive and supportive without appropriation. And for white people, that's definitely a gray area. For most white people, this is a new thing, and it's a cool thing. So maybe, for once, let's let those for whom the holiday is about take the lead on how to celebrate it. Juneteenth has been around for a long time. It didn't just show up to the party. We did. Let's take a back seat on this one. If Rosa Parks took a back seat for as long as she did, maybe we can do that this time around. Hey, We're all on the same bus here. Next stop, equality. And don't worry, we're not colonizing an already existing federal holiday, but to be honest, that really would be the proper way to celebrate Columbus Day, the whitest of all days. I mean, all he did was find a piece of land that other people had already found. He just crossed the ocean to do it. That's like someone saying they made something very famous, ignoring the fact that it had existed since 1865. Get it? Full circle. Now, there are enough days on the calendar to celebrate everything, but right now, black holidays matter. Maybe we should just call Juneteenth Independence Day too, as in as well. I mean, who doesn't love a sequel? And look how well they do. The movie Independence Day 2 didn't even have Will Smith in it, and it still made over $400 million. Hell, Christmas has a sequel. It's called Easter, or as it's known in Hollywood, Christmas 2 Resurrection. The tagline is, I'll be back. In conclusion, let's not be WPT on Juneteenth. When you get to the party, just come in, grab a drink, and don't fuck with the Spotify. America fought a war to free the slaves and preserve the Union, and we don't have a federal day to signify it? That's like getting married to the love of your life and then never celebrating your anniversary, which coincidentally is another way to lose your ball and chain. Don't get any ideas, Snapchat. What I'm saying is, Americans of all colors love celebrating our wins. And ending slavery is one of our all-time biggest wins. So let's recognize it federally and celebrate the fuck out of it. I'm Jonathan Kite. That's my 3 cents.